Okay. Hey guys, and well, let me first say they sent a child to Tartarus. I still cannot get over that. Yeah, I probably already said it, but I'll say this again. I know that it's pronounced Tartaros, but I just say it as Tartarus. Don't know why, but that's what I refer to it as. Either way, it's still H-E-L-L, the fiery pit of eternal suffering. And they sent a child there! Well, I have to wonder so many questions. Firstly, where is Toshiro's parents? I mean, wouldn't her family be upset about this? I mean, I know that what she did was bad. She pretty much almost took Magic out of Equestria permanently. She probably would have brought Equestria to its knees. Get to that in a moment. And apparently it was such a big deal. Celestia, Yuna, and even they say, for marching to Ponyville with an army. Roll the clip.
You serious?
Get over this. The more I think about it, the more serious it is. They needed an army to go and take a child. Heck, did Celestia and Yuna even knew that Toshi was a fairy? I don't know, but she's a Pegasus. I'm pretty sure that she would not have been that big of a threat. I mean, think about it. Her plan, from what we saw in this episode, was to rid Equestria of its magic, banishing it to another universe, I think. But basically, if she succeeded, magic would be forever gone from Equestria. Don't know about the other areas, but Equestria, yeah. Put them to the Elfie Forest, put them to Equestria doors, better enjoy it. Anyways. So, if she was succeeded in that, then, well, let's just say that she probably would not have gotten what she wanted. She wanted to use friendship to, well, by her own words, the Empress of Friendship. She wanted to manipulate and basically rule Equestria. But if you really sit down and think about it, that's a terrible plan. Because again, she's a child. Yes, she was clever in trapping the main six, and Spike, in Tartarus. I mean, if Tyret would not have broke the Pinkie Pie, constantly annoying him, they would be permanently in Tartarus. I mean, yeah, they tried to that out somehow. But, still, she still would have the princesses to deal with. I mean, you have Twilight's Blooded, you have Sunburst, Cadence, Yuna, Celestia. You're a kid. So, unless you were willing to spend a decade or two building your empire, you're not gonna take over Equestria. Maybe her plan was not exactly completed. Maybe this was just the biggest step, but who knows? Maybe she would have took the decade to, brainwash, especially to pretty much be on the roof. However, I have a theory, and I hope it's a theory that some of you share as well. Basically, at the very end of this episode, the very last frame we see before it touched the black in the credits is Toshi with an evil grin. I fully believe that Toshi wanted to be sent to Tartarus. That was part of her plan. And if that's right, then it makes perfect sense. She wanted the main sis to get out. She wanted the princesses to capture her and send her to Tartarus. But why would going to Tartarus... Let me rephrase that. Why would she pretty much expose her intent to be sent to Tartarus? Why? Did she not get into Tartarus herself? That makes sense, because think about it. She gave Twilight, an artifact. Was it the real artifact or was it a copy? Because it broke at the first use. What a waste of, effort. Anyways, she could have went into Tartarus herself, but I don't think she would have been able to get out. But now that I think about it, that's true right now, because she's in Tartarus in a cage. So unless she has a way to unlock that cage, who knows? Tillett got out of it at one point, so I'm pretty sure he might do it again. It's confusing, but let me say this. Sorry, my OCD is flashing an image across my mind. It's distracting me. Anyways, there's a few possibilities as to why Toshi wanted to be sent to Tartarus. Why she had to expose herself first, I don't know, but let me string the type of possibilities in my mind. First, she wanted to be sent there. There is something there she wants. Be it an old evil, an old form of magic. There is something in Tartarus she wants. But what could it be? Could it be to free Tillett? To free monsters? Let me take a moment to tell you something that I am regretting right now. Years ago, I came up with a story that I developed over the course of the show, but my writing just wasn't good enough to continue it, so I stepped away from it until I got more experience in both writing and RPG Maker. That story centers around not only Twilight, but this guy right here, and his name would be right there either above him or below him. This guy, here is trademark by the way, well, he is an ancient evil inside Tartarus. He's been there for millennia. And he found a way to escape. And his main goal throughout the story is to break Tartarus' seal. He died out, but in order to achieve his millennia-old, goal, he needs to open Tartarus up and keep it open, because his ambition, the reason he was banished to begin with, is because he wanted to destroy life. I was given a little information about why. And I do have certain things with this story posted, so people will believe me when I say that it's my work. But, who knows, maybe somebody can roll with it and get creative with their own version. I mean, it's taken me so long to get to this story. And right now I'm still not ready to get back to it. There's just so much. But this guy, he's a lich. A necromancer. He doesn't hate life, but sees life as unneeded. To him, life is just suffering, loss. What is the point of fighting to keep life going if eventually what you are fighting for just simply fades away into myth, legends, fade away outside of time? To him, life is pointless. And he just wants to break the cycle. He wants the afterlife to be the only form of life there is. Because there will not be suffering, there will not be loss. There won't be any sort of struggle. To him, the afterlife is perfect. But to get to it, you have to suffer life. Using who knows what. Fighting for no reason. Delaying what is bound to happen. I mean, look at it this way. The main six right now fight not only to save Ephrasia, but they fight for their friends, their family. They fight for everybody they tell for, and for everybody they tell for. It's not just them, but the entirety of Ephrasia. And, in case of the movie, pretty much everybody. They fight to save. But it's all for nothing. Because eventually, the main sense, the thing they fight for, yes, the torch will be passed on to new characters. The torch will pass generations. There's always gonna be someone to fight what the main sets are fighting for. To keep fighting to save Ephrasia. However, there will come a day where Ephrasia falls. And everything that the main sets fought for will be forgotten. Maybe in myth and legends, but eventually, Ephrasia will fade from history. And that is such a reality that you either accept, or you just do all you can to avoid it. And for the course of my story, Twilight herself has to come to terms with this. Because she does not want to use her friends. But there's a strong possibility that her friends are not going to make it through this adventure. So what can Twilight do? Risk the life of her friends? Or just not fight at all? That's why this story is taking so long, because I am not good enough right now to get that type of emotion. That needs gravity. And I don't know how to do that yet. But when I get more experience, I will try my best at this story. I'm just taking my time, letting my writing improve. But this is what this villain of mine, this is what he, throughout the story, tells the main sis. Even if he fails, their world will fade. It is inevitable. It will happen. Yet they fight anyways, because it's not just about them. It's not just about Ephrasia. For all of the sadness and hardships of life, it is always worth fighting for. And in the end, this villain will fail, but maybe he learns something. Whether Twilight's friends made it through this adventure or not, who knows? But that is the story of this character, and Twilight. And by this episode, I am regretting how long it is taking, because I'm starting to believe that this show, in some way, is going to need something from Tartarus. Of course, I won't be at all upset. My story will be my own. Their story is their own. I can't help but wonder, if I had to figure this story, would it have influenced something in this episode? That what they did in the 100th episode of the show? That is a question I am never going to know. But it doesn't matter. Whatever is about to come in Season 9, it's going to be alright. And whatever is Toshi's plan, I'm pretty sure we are not going to see it coming. There is something she wants. Maybe it's to free Tillet. Maybe it's to free him and some other entity. But let me float a blowing that, sadly, as far as I know, really no longer talks about the show. In this crossover review of A Canada Wedding, when he was talking about a theory that I swear is without a doubt one of the greatest theories this show could ever, have. The theory that Season 6 pretty much debunked. But this line in this theory, it still gets you. And here's the line. I might not get it right, but here goes. Now, before I get a bit of my coffee right quick. That cold coffee is not good. The greatest trick that the devil ever pulled was making the world believe he was gone. Think about that. Toshi's plan, she outright she gave the main six, who gave the princesses the idea that Tillet could be behind what's going on. They go confront Tillet, who tells them that Tosi Dro is, well, his protege, that she is behind this. So, Tosi's plan was brilliant, but she, and mostly Tillet, pretty much blew the plan up at the very, when you think about it. Because it is pretty much impossible to avoid exposing yourself. So, Tosi, my words are using me. Her plan pretty much required exposing herself. I mean, she probably didn't intend on the lunch sets to get in her way. But, if you think about it, something really doesn't add up. But let me say this. That's what I was about to say anyways. Maybe exposing herself and Tillet was all part of the plan. Because now, Ephrasia believes the main sets, the princesses, Naysay, the Lunsets, the students, the royal guards, they now believe the threat is over. That Tillet and Tosi failed, and they are going to stay in Tartarus for a long time. This lets their guard down, because I'm pretty sure they are not going to expect a Fury to break out of Tartarus. So that, I firmly believe, is part of her plan. Making Ephrasia believe she failed. And when she comes back, they are not going to be ready for whatever is about to come. Like Applegate says, the show, and Luffy too as well, the show is kind of building up to a war. I mean, the show has been building up allies for a few seasons now. And the movie, oh god, the movie. If Canterlot was invaded by an army, that pretty much made Canterlot into a melting ruin. And the fact not a single ally came to help is one of my top 2 complaints about it. But the show is building up to something big. Is it a war? Probably not. But the pieces are there if they do. So, make theories, criticize, debate. You need to delve into this and everything Tosi have done up to now. There is a few things that comes to mind closely. Tosi was right there as soon as the Lunsets came out of underneath the stew. The Lunsets, just with the Free of Harmony's spirit, and, Tosi was right there. They told her what happened, and we knew something was not right. I thought that maybe Tosi was the Free of Harmony. But that's now not true. However, she knew that the Free of Harmony was there. Why on earth didn't she do anything? I mean, those Tatatones made a perfect spot to blame the masses. However, from what we saw, the Free of Harmony pretty much confirmed that the Unsits will be the next bearers of the element. And it saved them. So the Free of Harmony was not using its magic. On the contrary, if it was, it could not have saved the day that way. So, Toshi did not do anything about the Free, nor did the Free do anything about Toshi until the Unsits were about to, well, into a black hole, if you will. So that's an interesting thing. Plus, you know, it made sense why Toshi helped the CMC out. She did very well in making them believe she was a friend. She let the CMC help her, and I did note how she said the element of control. That was a foreshadow. Anyways, she let the CMC help her with her, friendship. She got the CMC in trouble, and then she went and, confessed. She put herself in harm's way to help the CMC. Say what you will about Toshi, but she is the modest, the most brilliant, cunning, manipulative. She is turning out to be the best villain on the show. I mean, she is dangerous, and she is such a child. Or is she? Remember when she said the line, "You ponies have it wrong," or "You ponies had it wrong"? She said, "You ponies." When she said that, I was prepared to see some sort of reveal that she was indeed Chrysalis or that she was something else. But no, she remained a pony. But why would she say, "You ponies"? Was she referring to Starlight and the main six? Or was she referring to Express Realize itself? I don't know. But I'm kind of leaning towards that line is a foreshadow that she is not a little child. She is something else entirely that is using the form of a fairy. If you know anything about ghosts and demons, you know that if you see a child entity, chances are it's a demonic presence, a demonic force using the mask of a child, well, to seem less of a threat. Who knows? Toshi is not Chrysalis. We know that now. And if it was, then my God, she would have been stupid. Because this would not have been her plan. I mean, I guess the reason all of the races were using Magic was because of the artifact that were tied and connected to the races. One of those elements is sensing. And since we never really saw or saw it use her magic, it's kind of, it's not really, it's not told, but it's implied that she lost her magic too. So, Christmas would have been doing her own magic. So that really would not have been in her best interest. But Toshi, what would she have done if she won in this? I mean, that the theory I plot does hold water, it makes sense, but it is a threat. I mean, the odds of the main six, in spite, getting out of Tartarus, the sense of the lone six saving the day. Toshi could not have known that. She couldn't have. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Something is going on with her, and something is going on with the Free of Harmony. Because, remember what I said, Toshi did not do anything to the Free of Harmony. If she had, it could not have saved the Lone Six when it did. Because by that point, all of Equestria's magic was being pulled into that black hole. Yet the Free of Harmony had magic to say no. And if you think about it, the Free of Harmony's magic is its own magic. Toshi stole the magic from Equestria, from the races, because she had artifacts linking to those races. But she did not have anything to link to the Free of Harmony. You could say that the Catatones served as that. That could have been what she was thinking. But the Free of Harmony's magic lies within the Free and the elements. And there's been a big theory that there is a seventh element. Hashtag is the Alton element. Hashtag my personal theory. There is a seventh element. Since a first readers was confirmed canon in the previous season, there is a seventh. There is another element, number 7. But is it the Free itself? I don't know. But the show as of late keeps foreshadowing a green element. And there is a green shield in the first readers. And since it's now canon, there has to be another element to match that shield. However, it does not add up to the same element. So that kind of conflicts, I guess? I don't know. But I kind of go on this on enough, but you get what I'm trying to do here. There is something bed that we don't know. There is something coming. Is it a war? Is it some threat from in Tartarus that even the princesses can't possibly expect? Who knows what is coming? Whether Season 9 is the final season or not, there is something meta, something huge, something that nobody is going to forget. At least, not intentionally. In this case, the type of writing I can only dream to achieve. But, yes, Toshi's plan was to be sent to Tartarus. But why? And why did she allow herself to get exposed? Could it be to let the first let its guard down? To believe she failed? So she can come back and get fonder if you catch that reference? Who knows? And you know something quite particular. So far in this show, most of the villains from season to season have returned. Minus one. I am not counting the villains from the comics. I am not even going to count the Storm King in this because, well, he did not appear in the show. He first appeared in the comics. Then he appeared in the movie. And if you saw the movie, you know what became of him. So, with the show itself, every villain came back in one form or another. Minus Teen Sombra. He is the only villain to not come back. Be it a reference, name. Nightmare Moon came back in form of Yuna simply transforming in Nightmare Night. She came back in the dream world. You know, Starlight's nightmare mostly. Tillet came back this very episode. Let's see. Christmas keeps coming back. I don't know what the show is doing with Christmas, but seriously, she is the one villain that is still a threat, no matter what Toshi is up to. Christmas, she's out there. And the main six knows this. So do the princesses. The guard is down, but they know she's out there. Emphasis on they know she's out there. So yes. The Pony of Shadows. This is kinda iffy, if you will, on a stable piece of ice. The Pony of Shadows was first mentioned in Season 4. And, from what we saw, there is an entity living at that old castle. But it is not the Pony of Shadows. There's a theory that it could have been Tillet. But, whatever that entity was, we now may never know completely who it was. But the Pony of Shadows came back, and we saw who it was. So, he was first mentioned and we finally saw him a few seasons later. As much as I hate not knowing who that entity was in season 4, I have to give this to the writers. They took a name, and rode with it. So creatively, they earn their payday. But yes, the Pony of Shadows was mentioned. He showed up. But will we see him return? I don't know. But as of right now, Sombra is the only one that has not been named, has not been referenced or even talked about. And I know that in the comics, there's a parallel universe where Sombra is good. And he's the king of Tantalot in that universe. And he's in love with Celestia, and Celestia is in love with him. Okay. That is a can of worms I am not getting into. But, again, I'm talking about in the context of the show. Will Teen Sombra come back? I don't know. Could Sombra be in Tartarus somehow? I don't know. Could Toshi relate to Sombra in a way? Probably not, since, well, he doesn't look like a crystal pony. I mean, even when the crystal ponies are not crystallized, you can tell by their eyes that they are a crystal pony. But I'm way off topic of the episode, but these are just ideas that have been going through my mind as of late. I don't know what the show is doing. I don't know what Toshi's plan is. I don't even know if going to Tartarus was intended in the ways it was. But she's not done. At the very least, she has a plan B. I don't know. But there is one question that, no matter what happens, it needs to be addressed. How did Toshi get in contact with Tirette? Why did Tirette help a pony? Did he know who Toshi was? I mean, this is Tirette, the guy who backstabbed Discord when he was smart enough to do so, and when he had no more use for Discord. Tirette is the one pony that will backstab you. He will lie to you. Pretty much, Toshi is Tirette. Could they be related in some fashion? I don't know, but if you think about it, Toshi is Tirette as a child. I mean, she gained the flesh of so many characters just to stab them in the back. And she did it in a way that if Tirette did not, break, if he had not told them, Toshi? I don't know. Balloon Sitch and Starlight, they knew what Toshi was up to. So that is 100% impossible to avoid. But still, Tirette helping a child. Why? You think he would demand to be freed? or something, but no. He was willing to stay in Tartarus forever. Makes you wonder if Tartarus had its own master separate from Ephesria. But anyways, he was willing to stay in Tartarus, locked up in a cage, for pretty much to the end of time itself, with the main set. And yeah, he found out that maybe that wasn't the best idea. But why would he do that? I don't know. But I already talked enough about theories and whatnot. But let me say one more thing that Dr. Ruth pointed out. He brought up that in the opening of the episode, we saw Dorothy, or Muffins if you prefer. She was delivering this mail to the stew. Was she delivering mail to Tozy? Possibly, since she, picked some up and put it in her saddlebag. However, if she indeed was delivering mail to Tozy, that confirms two possible things. Firstly, Tozy and Tillet were able to send letters. How in the heck did Tillet get the stuff to write a letter, let alone an envelope? I don't know. But he was sending letters to Tozy if Dopey was delivering it. And if that's right, Dopey herself, or somebody, is going into Tartarus to collect mail. What the ripping insert sense of noise here? What happened, our friend? Who is delivering T-Rex letters? Who is sending these letters off? I highly doubt that Dopey, of all characters, would enter Tartarus. I doubt that she is able to get into Tartarus. So the only answer would be that the letters are magically being sent. But that's fighting Celestia. Celestia writes the letter, use a spell, Bite tops it up. Bite is handed the letter, he dopes it in flames, teleports to Celestia. Is that what's going on here? Does T-Rex have that ability? If so, how is Tozy sending them back to him? Is she going? No. If she was going in and out of Tartarus, she would not need letters. So that can't be it. Could there be a third character? A third villain behind the scenes that is linking these two together? I don't know. What was Wartooth in this episode? And what was Discord? I don't want to distract it here, but if you think about it, where were they? Discord, you could say that he was unable to teleport. However, he's not a Unicorn. He's not a Pegasus. He's a Photonotress. So would his magic be affected at all? I don't know. But if his magic was being affected, then my theory about the free is kind of shaky now. but it would explain why he didn't show up. He couldn't teleport. He either had to fly, he either had to walk, or he was stuck in a parallel dimension, either at his house, maybe was been mad in, the little parallel game. Poor Sprite messing out. But this can be used to explain why this dog was not here. Can't use that for the movie, but it was here. There is a theory that Dr. Wu mentioned, but I think it holds true for this story. When the main sis took the message from the freezers within Tartarus, notice that all of those freezers were forwarded to Cerberus turned into 3 puppies. The Chimera, I guess, she turned into a lion, or there's a tiger, a goat, and a snake. The bird bear turned into a panda, a hornet, and pretty much these creatures, with their magic being used up, were forwarded to single creatures, separating into their own bodies. And note, Tyrek did not do that. He remained the way he was. So there was something special about these creatures that, when they gave their magic to the main sis to get out of Tartarus, they reverted to everyday, normal animals. Dr. Ruth mentioned the possibility that somewhere long ago, somebody took these creatures and fused them into the creatures we have today. And that makes me think of Star Wars Frankenstein. If you don't know about that song, it's basically a song that tells the story of Darth he was a great musician. He was the very best, but he was alone. So, one day he took animal parts, sewed them together into a body, and when he was feeling alive into this creature, something went wrong, and the result became Discord himself. So that song tells the story of Starfall creating Discord out of various animals. So, if Dr. Wu's theory about these creatures is right, could that be true about Discord? Could that even explain why Discord is the only of his species? Because if you think about it, he's the only Photonid ever mentioned. There has never been anything that even hints slightly that there is another one out there. At least within the show itself. Again, I don't know about the comics. Some mysteries are best left unanswered, like the identity of Red Edge. What's underneath WD's hat? Mysteries keep people talking about the show decades after it ended. But there are some mysteries that I hope we get an answer to. I really want to see studio's family in some form. But Dr. Wu's feeling, if it's true, it too is playing Distort. Although Tillet stole Distort's magic, and he didn't refer to anything. But Distort forcefully took the magic. The magic was not gave up. And keep in mind that what was going on, all the facts connected to the wages of ponies, well, not just ponies, but to all the different wages we've seen, they linked to the spell, thus doing the magic from those races. These monsters really should have been that affected by it. But I think it was implied they were affected, because they live in a fresh area, I guess. Wait, is Tolerance even inside of the fresh area? And I wonder how some of those creatures ended up in the fresh area, in Tolerance. I think so Bonbon would be happy that the Bugbear is in Tolerance. She no longer has to hide her full identity anymore. And that Chimera is... it is in Tolerance. Somebody either told somebody that Chimera almost ate a child and they got punished for it, or being stuck in those two freeze, it starved, and what we saw in Tartarus is pretty much a spirit. Tartarus, whatever name you want to refer to it, is an afterlife. Be it where everybody goes, or just for evil people. You only go there if you are sent there by magic, or if you die. So, were some of those creatures undead? Or did somebody take them in there? If so, who? Are they not the same creatures but looks like them? That could be a possibility. But anyways, it was nice to see those creatures. And that fairy holds water. But I still want to know, how were Toshi and Tillet sending letters back and forth? I mean, if Dorothy was going into Tartarus, either she has the power of Pinkie Pie, or she would be stuck there. I swear that would be hilarious if the main stage did in there, finds Dorothy, and that would be quite hilarious. I mean, after all, a male pony was able to enter Distort's dimension to send him a letter. So how did that male pony, who we never saw since, I don't think, how did he enter a parallel reality to find Distort? Did Distort leave a magical door to come in and out? Was there a unicorn or a princess to send him there? Huh. Now that we know where Tartarus is, well, how to enter, I don't know. I'm interested to see where the show takes this. And, one more thing. Bonbon did mention that there was once an outbreak. A lot of creatures broke out of Tartarus. The Bugbear being one was never taught. Till now, if it's the same one. So, she and her fellow operatives went into hiding. You know, since those creatures broke out of Tartarus, could that have been when Tyrion escaped? Because if you think about it, Celestia only said, I think it was Celestia, the princess just only said that they believe he escaped when Cerberus left his post. But that brings up a couple of questions. One, how did those creatures break out in the first place? Two, how did Cerberus get out? Three, with what we know, did Tyrion escape Tartarus when Cerberus broke out? Or when the creatures broke out, forcing Bonbon and her operatives to go into hiding? Because if that's true, he's been out there a lot longer than we first thought. Remember, he was so weak he had to stay in hiding for a long time. And I'm pretty sure that Cerberus did not break out himself. He was actually after Tyrion, who was the one who broke out, lost him, and ended up in Ponyville. Or something opened up the doors to Tartarus, Cerberus got out by accident, and if that's when Tyrion got out, something let him out of the cage. Because Tyrion not only had to get out of a cage, but get past Cerberus. So, if he was that weak, there's no way in Tartarus that he would have got past Cerberus to get out. So it's likely Cerberus got out first. Because I don't think he would have been far enough to open up those doors himself. So, there's a couple of possibilities here. But, enough on theories. Let me say a few things about this episode. First, it was nice to see the lunch sets. They all did characters. I kinda wish we would have had more episodes about them. The first half of the season seemed to be more focused on the main sets. The second half seemed to be more focused on the lunch sets. And it is clear the show is building them to be the next bearers of harmony. Well, the next elements of harmony. Will the show end on that note? Or will it continue in some form? Who knows, maybe if the fans are fond enough, if the sales are high enough, maybe they might continue. Maybe the comics and fresh readers might continue. Who knows, they might release another book. They might release a game. I don't know. Halloween, the new upcoming movie, is hope to every franchise out there that even if you reboot it, you can go back to the original continuity and continue from there. So now a reboot doesn't end the original canon. Not anymore. So who knows? But I like these 6 characters. My favorites is either Lana or Osiris. Again, I named my character in Pokemon after Osiris. I showed you her when I showed you my shiny Cyndaquil. Let me say one thing right quick. Super the FIM son, this guy, you are wrong, buddy. I have sat running away from that electrode for a month or so now. Maybe longer than a month, actually. And I still have not got that shiny. With my insert sensor here, but they are not fast. That is not a faster way to get that shiny. Or I just have bad luck, or it just does not work in Crystal. But I just want to get that all right quick. Anyways, I like these two. I love saying things. They are my favorite in terms of the different races in the show. And I thought I wanted Fizzwish to win. I'm not lying. I want her to come out on top. But if she fights not Moon Moon, I have to choose the Knight. I'm sorry. Leona is, she's a good character. And I like the way she talks. The lads are interesting. And I do have a theory that I'm not gonna bring it up that I already derailed enough. But the lads are nice. Leona is a good character, and so are the others. We really don't know a lot about some of these shits. But from what we saw, they are good characters. Maybe next season we'll get more development for Sandbar. And maybe we'll see the characters from the freaking movie! Since Wartooth was teaching at the stew, where was he? Did he go off free to do something? Did he go and search of Star for another pillars? Actually, how did Starforce send that letter so fast? Dopey must really do have mass it. Anyway, does have mass it, man. I don't know. Maybe Toshi took Telefilm off Wing. I don't know. But the only ones that really got in her way was Starlight and Chancellor Nate, who I have to say, when he first appeared, it was so much confirming that a theory that Toshi was working for him, because, I mean seriously, the room was dark, there was an ominous feel, and in Twilight's very seer, Nate was in that seer, turned around ministry with his hooves, together like, you did well, my apprentice. But no, he was just asking where Twilight was and was surprised that, well, Toshi was in charge. But the way that scene started, you could have been right that theory was true, that he was going to lacerate. He was going to applaud Toshi for a job well done, but he did not. I have to say that I am disappointed that Nate was not a better presence. I mean, the season premiere ended with pretty much him saying he's not done. But we only saw him one other time before the season finale. Interesting question. Who sent Film and Film Twilight's butt? Was it Toshi? And if so, why did she do that? I don't know, but Nate, I wanted him to have more of a presence. But that's me. I wanted to see more of him. I wanted to see him develop. I wanted to see what he was going to do and how the characters were going to fix it. But no, he was not the big bad. The big bad was right there all alone, and we just had no idea which way it was going to go. And let's just say we were all shocked, for the most part. Toshi is a good villain. And being a child, can you just imagine if she was older, what she would have done? I mean, she's a child. So her plan made sense in her context, and that's my theory is true. But I do like Toshi. She is becoming one of my favorites, and I do hope we can see more of her. And whenever I get to my own story, I might try to find a role for her. I did intend to have Twilight, her fire rage modes right here. I did intend to have this part of, well, basically a part of her character. Something she needs to learn how to control. And this season gave me a brilliant way to do that. Do I even need to say it? These things right here. My God. This is one thing that I'm glad I waited on this story for. That this is gonna help me so much when I get to that story. But anyways, enough on fairies, enough on that. I like Toshi. And I like the Lynchets. They all did characters. And you know something? Twilight told the Lynchets that just because you save a fresh doesn't mean you don't everyday know it's about friendship. Then why did Twilight pass? Seriously. Twilight, Fallout, destroyed. Even Frisky were awarded medals for saving Equestria from the Saints. Yeah, the Saints reformed, because we're still out there, but they saved Equestria. And Starlight passed. Twilight confirmed so. She was so torn up about what to do with Starlight's future. I guess she decided to not pass after all. But seriously, let these 6 kids have their moment. You let Starlight and Toe have their moment. Jeez, Twilight. I don't know what is up with you this season, but we need to have a talk. Or talk with somebody. Ugh. Anyways, I think I said enough. I might do a video that goes in depth on this episode itself, but it's a good episode. It's a good finale to a season. I do wish we would have seen a bit more of Naysay, but oh well. I can't wait for season 9. And now I am free to watch Hasbro Shano. Seriously. I had enough with spoilers. Spoilers that, if you think about it, are really not fun. So, I stepped away from Twitter. I stopped watching the channel. And now that the season's over, I can at last go back and not be afraid. Because now I have to keep an eye open for the next season. And I can watch Littlest Pet Shop again. God, I wish they would go back to that. That's what my friend said is true. The toy sales are keeping the show alive. So buy as much as you can, because it might keep the show going longer. But even if season 9 is the final season, the show is never going to die. Because the fans are never going to forget. Their ideas are never going to stop. Even to this day, people are enjoying Generation 3. People are enjoying Generation 1. A franchise never dies. So long as a single person remembers it fondly, it will go on. Well, Season 9, we're waiting for you. Bring your best. If it's the final season, go out with a bang that will be remembered for decades. But please don't be the final season, we're begging you. It's so good. At least make them console video game. Seriously. Can you get a better concept for an RPG than this generation? No. One reason why I'm making my story an RPG Maker. Somebody has to do it. Thank you guys for watching my reaction to this season. Thank you for listening through this. I hope my theories made you think a little bit. And I hope you have theories of your own. Thank you for watching. Till then, very well. And just remember, if you are going to manipulate characters, get them stuck forever in any location. For the love of God, never gloat. Seriously. Gloating is the #1 way so many baddies die. Unless it's part of your plan to let the dog down. Again, for this federal food, making the world believe you're son. I'm looking for that. I'm keeping my eyes peeled. So till then, thank you for watching. And now, I go back to Dark Souls 2. I need a break. See you in Season 9. And, who knows, maybe some more videos. We'll see. Season 8, if I can just say you in one word, fantastic. I wish there was a bit more out of it, but better than Ninja still. Dang you, Power Rangers. See you in my next video.